Ogun Assembly mace recovered in far-away Lagos State 24 hours after burglars desecrated the Legislative House as questions arise about the motive and possible sabotage within the House. And tonight on the program, we'll hear from the man who wears the shoes in Borno State as he speaks on where it pinches the most for a state that has seen more than its fair share of insurgency. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Kayode Okikulu. We begin with an update from the presidency. Well, President Muhammadu Buhari is currently in his hometown, Daura, Katsina State, on a one-week private visit. While in Daura, the president will carry out a number of private engagements, but is expected to participate virtually in the meeting of the Federal Executive Council on Wednesday, which is to be presided over by Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo. The president last visited his hometown in December last year, having stayed away largely due to the global COVID-19 pandemic. Yesterday, also, we'll bring you more stories regarding that in a moment. But let's take you to what happened yesterday. Now, news broke that the Ogun State Assembly was burgled into by hoodlums. They called them hoodlums, by the way, and the mace was stolen in the process. By the way, the mace is a symbol of authority without which the House cannot sit. Well, the mace has now been found, but it wasn't anywhere close to the Assembly. In fact, it was not found in Ogun State, I should say, but over 100 kilometers away in Abule Ado, Lagos State. That's about a 4-hour drive. The police operatives attached to Trade Fair Station of the Lagos State Police Command said that they recovered the stolen mace at about 8:30 a.m. after it was thrown out of a moving vehicle into a nearby bush. The Lagos State and the Ogun State Police Commands are set to be in talks on the return of the recovered mace while investigations continue into the matter. In the meantime, the Speaker of the House, Olakunle Oluomo, had earlier denied that there was any rift within the House, saying that it was just a pure act of theft and not politically motivated. And now to our big story for tonight. Borno State has been in the news time and again for the wrong reasons. Insurgency, gruesome killings, trans-border terrorism, you name it. The latest being the killing in the most gruesome manner of over 40 rice farmers in Zabamari on November the 28th, 2020. Well, this caused national and international outrage, and the question again came up. Just what aren't we getting right in this fight against terrorism, as we call it? Well, countless recommendations have been made at different levels on solving this conundrum. But one that catches the eye is one by Governor Babagana Zulum, who knows about the situation firsthand. He says that for this fight to be won, youths from Borno State should be immediately recruited into the military and paramilitary services to complement the efforts of the Nigerian forces. He says the engagement of the government of Chad, Cameroon, and Niger Republic will be vital in clearing the remnants of Boko Haram hiding in the shores of the Lake Chad. The third recommendation is the engagement of the services of mercenaries. Well, this has been a big one, really, to clear the entire Sambisa forest. He also recommended that the government provide the police and the military with armed personnel carriers and other related equipment. But that's not all. He also suggested support to the Borno State repatriation program of displaced persons currently residing in Cameroon and Niger Republic. And finally, increase federal support for residents of Borno State. A total of 6 recommendations made by the governor. Well, Professor Babagana Zulum wears the big shoes as the governor of Borno State, so he knows where it pinches the most on the issues of insecurity, insurgency, and more. He joins us tonight from our Abuja studio. Good evening, Governor, and thank you for joining us on Politics Today. I think it's only fair, really, to start by asking about the residents of Zabamari following that gruesome killing. Has life returned to normalcy? Can the people go to their farms now without any fear?
Thank you very much. Yes, people can go about their normal duties in Zabamari following the engagements of the Nigerian military, civilian JTF hunters, and vigilante to go around Koshebe village where people were killed. I said now, because of the impact made by the people in collaboration with the Nigerian military, people of Zabarmari are free to go to their farmlands.
So, regarding the families of the victims, has there been any sort of compensation in any way? Because I think that will be vital also to bring in some sort of closure to them.
While we are still discussing with the federal government agencies, especially the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, you are very much aware that the Nigerian Governors Forum has been to Maiduguri, and they have donated the sum of 20 million naira. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs has also donated the sum of 5 million naira, making a total of about 25 million naira. We are yet to ascertain the total figures of those that were affected. But as of now, I think the figures is about 43,000. It's about 43. So government will soon come up with modalities to ensure that the families are well taken care of. But as of now, I think each and every family has received the sum of about 600 to 700,000 naira only.
So let's see if we can widen this just beyond Zabamari and Koshebe. For Borno State now, I mean, your state has been in the news, like I said earlier on, for the wrong reason. So as we speak right now, what is the current situation regarding security, insurgency, terrorism in Borno State at large?
Thank you very much. You know, the insurgency has triggered acute humanitarian and post-displacement crisis with devastating social and economic impact on the population, further deepening fragility and poverty in the Northeast sub-region. Actually, I want to be, so frank. In the year between the year 2011 to 2015, it could be recalled that 22 out of our 27 local government areas are completely under the insurgents. About 5,000 classrooms were destroyed. About 800 municipal buildings were destroyed. About 736 energy distribution lines were destroyed. Then about 1,600 water sources were destroyed by the insurgents. We harvested a total number of over 53,000 orphans and about 54,000 widows between 2011 to 2015. Honestly speaking, we have started witnessing gradual return of peace in Borno State between 2015 to date. But notwithstanding, still we have some certain challenges, especially in the fringes of the Lake Chad, in the Sambisa Game Reserve, as well as in the Mandra Hills. The situation now is that the difficult situation that we are in now is accessibility. Most of the local government headquarters are now accessible, but we want to ensure that people have access to their means of livelihood. Then how can they have access? That means they must have opportunities, they must have to be provided with opportunities for them to go to their farmlands, which is very difficult in some certain situations.
You know, when you talk about the local government areas that were under Boko Haram prior to this point, the question will be, at this time, how many local government areas are still being occupied by Boko Haram? The word out there is at least 3 local government areas of the 27 are under Boko Haram. Is that true?
When?
At this moment.
Now?
How many? Yeah, at this moment. How many local governments are under Boko Haram?
No. But we have 2 local government areas now that we don't have human population. Only 1 local government, which is Abadam local government.
So
but that does not mean we have military personnel right now in Abadam, Manupatari headquarters of Abadam local government.
So 2 local government areas
Marte, you have seen Marte.
Right. Please go ahead.
Marte, we have returned people to Marte last 2 weeks ago. And then we have some people who are also residing in Guzamala local government, not in the local government headquarters. We have some people who are all military personnel who are right now residing in Manupatari headquarters of Abadam local government. But the only local government in Borno State now that don't have civilian population is Manupatari local government.
So are you saying that
local government area of Borno State?
Are you saying that those local government areas that don't have human population are being occupied by Boko Haram or ISWAP, as the case may be? They are being
occupied. The headquarters are being occupied by the Nigerian military. But honestly speaking, you know, the Boko Harams are hovering around the shores of the Lake Chad. So when I am speaking, what I mean by shores of the Lake Chad, the local governments that are in the shores of the Lake Chad are Marche, Mongono, Kukawa, Malpatari, Guzamala. These are the main local government areas that are within the shores of the Lake Chad.
So the question will be naturally, how safe is it to move within Maiduguri? You just mentioned Marte, and I recall that just weeks back there was some resettlements that you did in some area, and there was an attack right after that. I think that area was Kukawa. There was resettlement, and then there was an attack right after that. So at this point now, just how safe it is to move around the state?
While as we do used to experience some sporadic attacks along the line, our major problem now in Borno State is two main roads. The road between Maiduguri to Mongono and the road between Maiduguri to Damasak. These are the two local government headquarters that we are still having difficulties in reaching the local government headquarters. But nonetheless, the Nigerian Army and the Nigerian police are providing escorts with a view to safeguarding the lives and properties of the people in transit.
So, I mean, let's see if we can try to answer this question also, which has come up a lot. We've been fighting this war for over 10 years. We have thrown almost everything at it. So why does this, I mean, winning this war, why does it still remain elusive? What is a big challenge, really, Governor? Can you share with Nigerians tonight?
Yes, thank you very much. You know, the war is now in its 11th year. We need to address some major problems. First of all, there is a need for the government of Nigeria to address the root causes of the insurgency, which are not limited to endemic poverty, pervasive illiteracy, high unemployment rate, social inequality, poor economic infrastructure, drug abuse, environmental degradation, among others. This has been some of the major challenges that we are facing in Borno State and indeed the entire Northeast sub-region. So right now, we are facing some serious challenges as regards recruitment. The insurgents do use to recruit some of our younger ones into their sects. Why? It's because of poverty. And therefore, for us to now address completely the issue of this insurgency, government must provide a means of livelihood. That means government has to look into the possibility of addressing the root causes of the insurgency. While the second phenomenon is with respect to the presence of the insurgents in the shores of the Lake Chad, in Sambisa Game Reserve, as well as in the Mandara Hill. Borno State has a total area of about 79,000 square kilometers. It's a very big area. And then, in terms of the numerical strength of the military, I think their numbers are lean. We need more military personnel in Borno State. They are overwhelmed. For them to defeat the insurgency, there is a need for the Nigerian army to recruit more into the system. Because we have about 27 local government areas in Borno State. And then, how many soldiers do we have in Borno State? Honestly speaking, there is a need for the government of Nigeria to recruit more, especially our youths, into the Nigerian army, into the Nigerian police, with a view to bridging in the gaps. This is one. The second thing is that...
Well, Your Excellency, just before we get into that second point, we're due for a break now. But when we come back, we'll take a look at some of the other recommendations you have made, especially the talk around mercenaries. By the way, the Defense Minister has responded to that. So we'll get your reactions to his response in a moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Professor Babagana Zulum, the Executive Governor of Borno State, still with us on the program discussing issues around insurgency and why it has persisted for this long. Just before we went on that break, Governor, you were trying to make a point, a second point. So if you can conclude on that, because I think it's vital to understanding the challenges which you're facing in the state.
So one most important thing is the presence of the insurgents in the shores of the Lake Chad, presence of the insurgents in Sambisa Game Reserve, as well as the presence of the insurgents in Mandara Hill. And this is one of our greatest challenges. They do normally used to leave these three areas and then come and attack innocent people in some of the settled communities and go back to their hideouts. And therefore there is a need for the Nigerian military to take the war into these three critical areas with a view to eliminating them. It's also one of our greatest challenges.
Right. When you say there's a need for the Nigerian military to take the war to them, that would imply that prior to this time, the Nigerian military had been sitting back. Is that correct?
No, but I think we need to do a lot. They have been working, but they need to do a lot with a view to reaching into the enclaves of the insurgents. Because it is a well-known fact that the insurgents are right now in the shores of the Lake Chad. We call Tumbus, and up to now, I don't think the Nigerian military had access to these areas. The only solution for us to defeat the insurgents is for them to take the war to the shores of the Lake Chad, to the Mandara Hill, as well as to the Sambisa Game Reserve. We still have insurgents in the Sambisa Game Reserve. We still have the insurgents in the shores of the Lake Chad, as well as in the Mandara Hill. And therefore, all what we are trying to do are temporary solutions. The permanent solution is that they should ensure that the remnants of the insurgents are cleared in these three territories.
But Governor Zulum, one then wonders, I mean, time and again we see the military put out videos of airstrikes, bombarding areas occupied by the terrorists, their storage areas, and what have you. So are you saying that that is not even scratching the surface of this problem?
Well, yes, you are right that the Nigerian Air Force has been doing a very great job in ensuring the elimination of the insurgents using their helicopters and others. But you know, military operations has to be followed by some stabilization mechanisms. You have seen now, we have seen a lot of bombardments, but there is a need for the army to take over these places with a view to, getting some stabilities in the place. Military operations has to be followed by some stabilization mechanisms, so that once an area has been bombarded, there is a need for the Nigerian army to take over the territory completely, so that the insurgents will not come back to such areas.
You know, I mean, these issues you mentioned seem like fundamental to the operational, the operational works of the Nigerian military. I mean, I'm not a military person, but it seems fundamental. A lot of recommendations have been made, especially by you. You suggest that mercenaries should be employed, especially because you think that the Nigerian army is short-staffed, as it were. Well, the defense minister, we spoke to him on the program yesterday, and he was quite skeptical about that recommendation, saying that, well, we have all we need within the Nigerian armed forces. So just how far are you willing to go with this recommendation?
While these recommendations are very valid, for anybody who wants to say the right thing, there is a need for us to follow these 6 recommendations. One of such recommendations is for the Nigerian government to look into the possibility of a coalition with its neighbors, especially the Republic of Chad, to clear the shores of to defeat the insurgents in the shores of the Lake Chad, with the Cameroonians to defeat the insurgents in the Mandara Hill. And I think for now, we need mercenaries to clear the Sambisa, to defeat the insurgents in the Sambisa Game Reserve. This is very important, because I'm in this business for about 11 years.
So when you say that mercenaries should be employed...
I'm very much aware that...
Pardon me, when you say that mercenaries should be employed, you're referring to Chad, Niger, and Cameroonian forces. Is that what your mercenaries suggestion means?
No. We have 3... I told you that we have 3 areas in Borno State where the insurgents are right now living. One of these areas is the shores of the Lake Chad. The other one is the Mandara Hill, and then the third one is the Sambisa Game Reserve. The Lake Chad shores were neighboring with the Republic of Chad. That is why I'm advocating for a collaboration between the Nigerian army and the Chadian army under the auspices of the Multinational Joint Task Force to form a coalition with a view to defeating the insurgents in the shores of the Lake Chad. While in this Mandara Hill, Cameroonians were neighboring with Cameroon. Cameroonians will also partner with the Nigerian army to clear the insurgents in the shores of in Mandara Hill. While the Sambisa Reserve is a very large area. For now, we had a lot of stories. Yes, I'm a realist. I told you at the beginning of this session that the situation now is far better than before. Because I can remember in the year 2013, 2014, in a day, in one town in Bama, about 500 people were killed. People have forgotten this one. But while trying to, give kudos to the Nigerian army, but there's need for us to look into the possibility of ending this insurgency. Up to now, I believe less has been done with respect to clearing the insurgents, remnants of the insurgents in Sambisa Game Reserve.
So the question naturally,
their headquarters.
So the question would be, what more can be done? Is it fair, really, the call for the sacking of the service chiefs? You've sat in several meetings with them. You have seen firsthand their capabilities. But time and again, from the Senate to various levels, the service chiefs are being asked to go. Do you think that's a fair call?
While I think the issue of sacking of the service chief is squarely prerogative of Mr. President. But as far as I'm concerned, as the governor of Borno State, I'm after peace. And therefore, the nexus between peace, security, and development need not to be overemphasized. The Nigerian army, the Nigerian police has to be well equipped to fight the insurgents. If they have the proper equipment, the personnel are enough on ground that they can fight the insurgents, I think to me, that's what I want. While the issue of either sacking the Nigerian service chiefs or not is duty of Mr. President. But what we need is that we want to see an end to these insurgents.
Well, Governor Zulum, on a final note, I'd like to just touch on this because it has lingered on for a while. Have we lost hope on rescuing the Chibok girls who were kidnapped in 2014? Over 100 of them are still missing.
Not at all. We are still optimistic. In whatever I'm doing in my lifetime, I do used to be optimistic person.
Well, I think it's a great place to anchor on that note of optimism. We'd like to thank you so much, Professor Babagana Zulum, the governor of Borno State. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the program regarding the insurgency in your state, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
So that's the program for tonight, everyone. So have a great night.